All right, everybody, welcome back. We're kicking off another deep dive today. And this one really got my wheels turning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at this article called End of Digital Age, question mark, of course, by Dr. Lev Neymotin. And honestly, the title alone is enough to make you stop and think. I mean, the end of the digital age.
Right.
It's a pretty big statement.
Yeah.
So basically, we're going to dig into this article and, see if Dr. Neymotin might be onto something here.
Sound like a plan.
Yeah. So, to kick things off, one of the main points Dr. Neymotin makes is this whole idea that the digital age might be ending because of, get this, analog computing.
Analog computing.
Analog computing. Apparently, he thinks it could be the answer to, one of the biggest problems facing AI right now.
I'm listening.
The huge energy consumption.
Yeah. That's a big one. I mean, we all see the headlines about AI's energy footprint, but it's easy to kind of just brush it off, But when you really think about it, it's a pretty major issue.
Absolutely. Where is all that power even coming from? And how long can we keep that up?
Exactly. It's not sustainable.
Not at all. So can you maybe break that down for us a bit? What's the big deal with AI and energy?
Well, the thing about AI, especially all those really complex machine learning algorithms, is that they need a ton of processing power to work, a mind-boggling amount.
Right.
And to get that much power, you need massive data centers. And those data centers, they gobble up energy, an insane amount of energy.
Gotcha.
And it's only going to get worse as AI keeps growing and becoming even more complex. It's just not sustainable in the long run, both for the environment and the economy.
Right, yeah. I get it. It's like we're hitting a wall or something.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, so that brings us back to analog computing. I gotta be honest, I'm not exactly a tech whiz. Could you maybe explain what analog computing even is? How is it different from the digital stuff we use every day?
Sure. So, digital computing, it basically boils down to representing information using just two values. 0 and 1, right? Those famous bits. Right. And it works great for a lot of things. But the thing is, when you start dealing with super complex tasks, all that switching between 0 and 1, it can start to use a lot of energy.
I see.
Analog computing, on the other hand, it works with continuous values. Instead of just on or off, it's more like a dimmer switch.
Oh, so instead of just having the lights on or off, you can adjust them to be kind of dim or really bright?
Exactly, you got it.
Cool.
Dr. Neymotin actually uses a really good analogy to explain this. He compares digital bits to Lego bricks.
Okay.
And he says analog concepts are like the structures you build with those bricks. So imagine trying to build something really complicated, a giant castle, but instead of using Legos, you had to use individual atoms.
Whoa.
It would take forever.
Right.
And be super inefficient.
Right, yeah.
But with Legos, you're working with bigger building blocks, which makes the whole process way easier and faster.
I love that analogy. So, are you saying we've been using the wrong tools for some computing tasks? We've been trying to build a castle with atoms instead of using Legos?
It's possible, yeah. At least that's what Dr. Neymotin seems to be suggesting. He thinks that by switching to analog, we can start working with these higher-level concepts instead of getting bogged down in the nitty-gritty details. He calls this whole thing concept management.
Concept management. That's a really interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
So how does concept management actually work?
Well, it's still early days, but the basic idea is to move away from manipulating those individual bits and instead process entire concepts as a whole. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if you're trying to get an AI to recognize a cat in a picture, instead of analyzing every single pixel, an analog system might be able to just see the whole image and immediately be like, yep, that's a cat.
Oh, wow.
And this ability to work with bigger chunks of information could make AI way more efficient and, of course, use way less energy.
That makes sense. It's kind of like how our brains work, right? We don't consciously think about every single detail of what we see or hear.
You got it. That's one of Dr. Neymotin's big points. He says our brains are basically analog machines, and that if we want to make AI that's truly efficient and intelligent, we need to start thinking more like our brains do.
That's fascinating. Okay, so Dr. Neymotin also talks about 3 different paths of research in computational neuroscience.
He does, yeah.
Can you tell us more about those?
Absolutely. So the first path is all about trying to model the human brain using digital tools. Basically, taking what we know about the brain and turning it into a computer simulation.
Got it.
The second path focuses on using what we learned about the brain to build better digital AI systems. So taking inspiration from the brain to improve our existing technology.
Okay.
But Dr. Neymotin, he's really excited about this third path. It's pretty wild, actually.
What is it?
He's talking about actually building an artificial brain using physical analog components.
Whoa, hold on. An actual artificial brain? That sounds like something straight out of like a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing. But he's serious. He's saying that instead of just simulating analog processes in a digital system, we should actually try to create physical systems that work in an analog way.
I don't even know what that would look like.
To be honest, neither do I. The details are still being worked out, but the potential is huge. Dr. Neymotin believes this third path could lead to AI that not only functions like a human brain, but also uses way less energy than anything we have today.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so is Dr. Neymotin basically saying that the digital age is over?
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it's definitely a bold prediction.
It is.
And I don't think digital technology is going to disappear overnight.
Right.
But I think what Dr. Neymotin is trying to say is that we might be on the verge of a major shift in how we think about computing. Digital systems are probably going to stick around for a lot of things. But analog computing, it could become a really powerful alternative, especially for things like AI and any tasks where you need a more intuitive, brain-like approach.
So it's more like we might be heading towards a hybrid future where digital and analog kind of work together.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the most likely scenario.
Makes sense. So what does all this mean for us regular folks? Like, how could this shift to analog affect our everyday lives?
That's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, just imagine a world where our phones, our computers, even our cars are all running on a mix of digital and analog technology. Would they look different? Would they feel different to use? Could they become way smarter and even more energy efficient? It's pretty exciting to think about all the possibilities.
I know, right? It's kind of mind-boggling. Well, wow, this deep dive has really given me a lot to think about. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But for everyone listening, I want to leave you with this question. What if analog computing really takes off? What kind of impact could it have on your life? Would you be comfortable with technology that's designed to work more like your own brain?
It's a big question.
It is. And it's one worth pondering as we move into this potentially groundbreaking new era of computing. So thanks for joining us for another deep dive. And until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
See you next time.